Because that's what I felt growing up. I mean, I'm not, everybody I grew up with was not bad men or bad women. I mean, they were, yes, they were in some cases doing things that, if circumstances had been different, they wouldn't have done. But they were stuck, and some were very sorry for it. Some relished it, and yet were also human beings. They weren't psychopaths. They weren't even what you would call today a sociopath. They were people. And so that's what been my whole life, is dealing with who we are. And I found that this story lent itself to that exploration even further.
Did Martin Scorsese sense something was wrong the last time he spoke to Rob Reiner? Did a familiar laugh sound different, or a conversation end with an unease no one wanted to name? After the shocking deaths of Rob and Michelle Reiner, Scorsese's emotional words left many wondering whether his grief came only after the tragedy or whether he felt something fragile before it happened. Was there a final exchange, a quiet warning, a moment that now plays back differently in his mind? As Hollywood mourns, one unsettling question lingers. Did Scorsese notice more than he can say? In a rare and deeply personal essay published shortly after the deaths, Scorsese, one of the most influential filmmakers in modern history, laid bare his disbelief. He described the loss of Rob and Michelle as an obscenity, an event so jarring that it felt unreal, like a rupture in the natural order of things. For Scorsese, this was not simply about losing a colleague or a fellow titan of cinema. It was about losing a friend he had known for more than half a century, someone his presence had become a constant thread through the chaotic, exhilarating evolution of American film. Rob Reiner and Martin Scorsese came from different creative worlds, but they were shaped by the same era. Both emerged during a time when Hollywood was being reinvented by bold voices willing to challenge tradition. Scorsese arrived in Los Angeles from New York in the early 1970s, bringing with him a gritty, Catholic-inflected vision of morality, guilt, and redemption. Reiner, meanwhile, had already become a familiar face to American audiences through All in the Family before reinventing himself as one of the most versatile and commercially successful directors of his generation. What bonded them was not similarity, but respect. Scorsese admired Reiner's instinct for storytelling and character, while Reiner appreciated Scorsese's uncompromising artistic vision. Over the years, their paths crossed repeatedly at industry gatherings, private dinners, political events, and eventually on film sets. Scorsese later recalled that wherever Rob went, he brought warmth with him. He had a laugh that filled rooms, a humor that disarmed tension, and a way of making people feel included. That warmth extended to Michelle Reiner, who Scorsese also mourned deeply. Michelle was not merely Rob's wife, she was his partner in every sense, a producer, a confidant, and a steady presence who helped ground him amid the pressures of fame, politics, and public life. Friends often described them as inseparable, a couple who moved through Hollywood together without losing their sense of purpose or compassion. To Scorsese, they were a unit, which made losing both of them at once all the more devastating. One of Scorsese's most cherished professional memories with Reiner came during the filming of The Wolf of Wall Street, where Reiner played the sharp-tongued, disapproving father of Leonardo DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort. Scorsese later praised Reiner's performance as deceptively complex, noting that beneath the humor was a profound understanding of parental love, the kind that remains even when disappointment sets in. It is an observation that has taken on haunting resonance in light of what followed years later. In his tribute, Scorsese reflected on how difficult it was to speak of Rob in the past tense. "From now on," he wrote, "I'll have to use the past tense." The sentence carried the weight of finality, of realizing that someone who had always felt present, always just a phone call or dinner away, was suddenly unreachable. For Scorsese, grief was not abstract. It was personal, immediate, and disorienting. Notably, Scorsese avoided sensationalism. He did not dwell on the mechanics of the crime or speculate publicly about motives. Instead, he focused on loss, on the emptiness left behind when people who animated your life are gone. He wrote about imagining future gatherings where Rob's laugh would no longer echo, about the silence that replaces familiarity. It was grief stripped of performance, raw and unresolved. Yet, outside of those intimate reflections, the world moved quickly to confront the grim reality. Authorities confirmed that Rob and Michelle Reiner were found dead on December 14, 2025, and that their son, Nick Reiner, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The news sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, not only because of the prominence of the victims, but because of the unbearable tragedy of a family imploding from within. In the end, what Martin Scorsese offered was not an explanation of why tragedy struck, but a testament to what was lost. And in doing so, he echoed a truth many in Hollywood and far beyond it are still grappling with: that brilliance, love, and devotion do not grant immunity from heartbreak, and that even the most celebrated lives can end in ways that leave those left behind searching for meaning